because there's no correlation right now between the price of a stock and the underlying fundamentals. And the reason I said gold, silver, and Bitcoin will crash when the vaccine will come out, I tweeted it's a good thing. Bitcoin boom beating gold and silver. What does that mean? It means you better buy as much as you can now. The train is moving, the dollar is dying, silver is still affordable for everyone. And as the dollar crashes, what counts is not price, but how many coins of gold, silver, or Bitcoin do you own? Since 1974, the US dollar has lost 90% of its value, and people still say to their kids, save money. You've got to be crazy.
Robert Kiyosaki, who you may know as Rich Dad, explains why you need to be holding Bitcoin. Kiyosaki is an interesting figurehead, as unlike a lot of the older investors such as Buffett, Charlie Munger, or Bill Gates, Kiyosaki has held a long-term bull thesis for Bitcoin. In the second half of the video, however, Kiyosaki flips the script and outlines why you would sell your Bitcoin, what circumstances would have to unfold for Bitcoin to crash. Finally, stick around to the end of the video where we cover 2 news events regarding Bitcoin that has come out over the last 24 hours and is very bullish for the cryptocurrency. As at the time of this recording, the Bitcoin price is pushing over $52,000, so congratulations to all holders in the green. Also, only a tiny percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you enjoy the video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video.
So I don't save dollars because I don't trust the US dollar. And I just save gold and silver and recently Bitcoin. And the reason is because of 1971, when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, the dollar became fake. So now that COVID has hit and they printed more money in 2020 than they did in the first 200 years of our country. And still people are saving dollars. You should be buying some gold, some silver, and you can afford it, Bitcoin. Silver today is a bargain. I mean, today is around November 15th, I think, or whatever it is. And I can buy a silver eagle for about 30 bucks. And everybody in the world can afford 30 bucks. But the average person has been conditioned to think about paper, fake money, fake dollars. At the same time, they're printing as much money as they possibly can. They give it to their rich friends. They don't give it to us. And then they print it and interest rates keep going down. So in 1974, when I got out of the Marine Corps, if I had $1 million, which I didn't, I could put $1 million in 74 into a savings and loan, a bank, in a certificate of deposit, and they would pay me 15% on my $1 million. So a lot of people have made a lot of money. They just put their money into the bank and they're being paid 15% interest. So $1 million back in 74 was worth approximately $150,000. Now it's not a lot of money to retire on, but you could have retired on $150,000 in 1974. Today, I take $1 million into the bank, I might get 2%. So that means it went from $150,000 to $20,000. And after taxes, that $20,000 might be worth $15,000. In other words, since 1974, the US dollar has lost 90% of its value, and people still say to their kids, save money. You've got to be crazy. They're going to, now that the elections are over and all this, I don't care if it's Trump or Biden, they're going to have to print so much money just to pay for all of the social entitlement programs so people don't riot. They can't afford to have any more rioting. So they're going to print more and more money, and people are still saving dollars or yen or euro or pesos. Right now, you should be saving gold, silver, or Bitcoin. And the thing is in the year 2000, I started buying gold at $250 an ounce. And today it's worth 10 times that much, approximately. So I'm very happy with my gold. And silver was like $2 or $3 or something, and now it's worth 30. And the Bitcoin I bought, thank God I was buying it at 9,000. And today it's worth over $1 million. But the reason for that has nothing to do with gold, silver, or Bitcoin. It has to do with the incompetence of the Federal Reserve Bank, or the corruption of the Federal Reserve Bank, the US Treasury, and Wall Street. So I'm not saying Bitcoin, and people get into what I call pissing matches. Which is better, gold or Bitcoin? Who cares? The question is, how much do you have? That's all that counts right now. Because the reason you buy gold, silver, or Bitcoin is for the same reason. If you trust the US government or the central banks, the Fed, and Wall Street, then save money. But if you don't, then buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin. And the thing I like about Bitcoin is that I can run with it. It's just a number in my head. My trouble with my gold and silver, I got so much of it, I have to lug it. It's hard to get it around. So when I started looking into Bitcoin, it was already starting to come up. So I started buying it around 9,000. And today I think it's around 15 or 16,000. I don't know what it is. I don't count that. I just count the number of coins I have. That's it. And I'm buying more. The reason I like gold, silver, and Bitcoin is this. The trouble with the US dollar, the more it drops in value, the more they print. Let me say that again. The US dollar, the yen, the peso, the euro, as it drops in value, because interest rates keep dropping, they print more of it, and people save it. Talk about losers. Get it through your head. They're printing it. It's getting worth less and less and less. Whereas Bitcoin, the thing I like about it, because the more valuable, more expensive Bitcoin gets, they print less of it. It's called a halving. So the price goes up, but the quantity comes down. And check the dollar out. The value of the dollar comes down, but they print more of it. Why would you save it?
So there you have it, guys. You would have to be crazy to not be holding Bitcoin and holding your fiat money that is devaluing at 10 to 15% per year. Now, Kiyosaki flips the script and argues against the bull case for Bitcoin. What circumstances would have to unfold for the Bitcoin price to crash?
Gold and Bitcoin will crash when the world finds a COVID vaccine that works. This is according to my guest today. He is Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he joins me now.
Yeah, I think the problem isn't the pandemic. The problem is our economic system. And as most of you guys know, on September 17th, 2019, there was a crash in the repo market of the shadow banking system. And then voila, COVID appears in December of 2019. So I was always a little suspicious of it. I'm not saying it's not real, but it was a little too convenient. So something's fishy, and that's kind of my suspicious mind saying
that. Should we find a vaccine, that gold and Bitcoin would get hit hard?
Well, I don't know what get hard, but happy days are here again, because I hate to say this, but gold, silver, and Bitcoin are investments of disaster. If everything was perfect, you don't need gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So I've been collecting silver since I was in 1964, when I found out that silver tinge upon my little dimes and nickels, and then dimes and quarters. And I started buying gold in 1972. My first coin was in 1972 was in Hong Kong. I bought a Kruger in. And the reason is I understood what happened when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. And so, as you know, most of the pessimist gold guys like me just know you just can't keep printing money. And so this COVID thing is a little suspicious. That old saying is don't fight the Fed. And there is some truth to that. If you had followed that advice in 71, you did okay, because the Fed always bailed you out. But that's what I was talking about, September 17th, 2019, that fire in the repo market. they couldn't, and the Fed jumped in and the Treasury jumped in to save the repo market. That's socialism. That's communism. That's central controlled government. So now the economy is controlled by the Fed and the U.S. Treasury. Free market is gone.
It's a Fed-fueled party, basically.
Correct. And what happened is separated the price of a stock from the fundamentals of a stock. And so, as you know, many of the CEOs were just borrowing money off their corporations, like, let's say, Ford, and making them they went from AAA to BBB junk bond status, same as AT&T and all these companies. So the CEOs were complicit in borrowing from their corporate treasury, repurchasing their stocks, which sent the price of the stock up, and then the CEOs parachuted out under capital gains taxes, not ordinary income taxes. So this whole thing has been one, as the Marines would say, a gaggle F. It's just really a mess. Buffett is saying the banks aren't going to make it. Because, what happens every single time is when the Fed and the Treasury take over, they don't need commercial banks. They want to go straight from the Treasury to the people, which is PPP, Universal Basic Income, UBI, and MMT. So the Fed is now becoming the banker for the people also. That's centrally controlled economy. So that's why I tweeted, I said, when the vaccine appears and happy days are here again, the real problem has always been the economy. It's been the central bank, the repo market, Wall Street, and U.S. Treasuries. When you look at zero interest rate policies, which we're going to, that's saying we don't want your cash, we don't want your savings. They're forcing mom and pop into the equities market or the bond market or the real estate market. And if you're going to survive into the future, if you're just going to buy, hold, and pray in your 401k, you're toast. You're toast. Because there's no correlation right now between the price of a stock and the underlying fundamentals. And the reason I said gold, silver, and Bitcoin will crash when the vaccine will come out, I tweeted it's a good thing because it's a buying opportunity, because the problem wasn't the pandemic anyway. The pandemic has always been the underlying repo market, shadow banking system, the Fed, the Treasury, and all those characters. So information is the key for the future, and that's why you've got to be up to date on it every minute, because zero interest rates are saying we don't want your money. That's what it means.
I actually agree with Kiyosaki that as we see a vaccine more widely available, we may see a consolidation and pullback in the Bitcoin price as investors move to other assets such as stocks. However, I do not think it will be as crazy as he outlines or a crash in any sense due to too much institutional interest. As he said, if we do see any meaningful pullback, all it will provide is a good buying opportunity. Now, the recent news that has come out regarding Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. Firstly, Bitcoin number of addresses holding over 0.1 plus just reached a new all-time high of just under 3.2 million addresses. This is as investors continue to enter the market and stack those sats. Great to see. Secondly, we have seen the launch of North America's first Bitcoin ETF happen in Canada, with $220 million of shares being traded in its first day. The ETF was launched on the Toronto Stock Exchange and was a huge success. Keep in mind, guys, we will be seeing a United States Bitcoin ETF launching later this year, so this much excitement and activity regarding Bitcoin is very bullish in my opinion. Much more upside to be had. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, have a great day.